So now students will discuss the next point in the steps involved in the selection of steps involved in establishing or setting up an enterprise. That the next point is provision of physical facilities. So from the heading, all of you will find out, all of you are very aware of that what are the physical facilities which are being given or set up in the organization. The provision of physical facilities convey the meaning of that installation and selection of a right machine or the very good sophisticated machine such as plant and machinery, equipments, tools, buildings, etc. Means that is known as how the enterprise should give all the reasonable equipments, tools, plant and machineries, machines, so as the workers or the laborer or the personnel, those who require this thing, can so they get those sorts of particular machines so as to do the necessary work, to perform the necessary work and function so as to achieve their goals and the productivity of the organization. So provision of physical facilities means the selection of a particular machine, tools, equipments, plant and machineries, other sophisticated machines, so that the workers or the staff can deliver there, go and work there, improve the productivity, enhance the productivity, and thereby reduce the cost and attaining the organizational goals. Now, uh, first of all, we need to consider something that in an organization, the organization should install the right type of machine, the right of a machine for the required work. Otherwise, if there is a misplaced machine or if the wrong machine is set up for the work, it can lead to exhaustion and depletion of resources. So the organization and the owner should always make ensure and check all the aspects related to that the right machines are placed and the right man at the right job so as to ensure the optimum usage of resources. All the things are technically feasible and viable, and thereby enhancing the productivity of the work and thereby attaining the organizational goal and thereby reducing the cost of the goods per unit too. So as I've written here, provision of physical facilities implies or state or conveys the meaning that selection of machines, plant and machinery, tools, equipments, buildings, and other physical facilities which are provided, which are being set up in the organization so as to provide the workers. But it needs to be carefully selected while putting things. First of all, we have to decide the size of the organization, means the quantum, whether it is large sized, whether it is medium sized organization, or whether it's small scale. So on the basis of their quantum or the size of the firm, the organization can make choices and can take decisions relative to the organization size and needs and demands. Then comes the technique of production, what the organization is willing to take, whether it is the capital intensive technique production or labor intensive technique production, and the most important things, the availability of finances and the required funds. If there is not availability of finances and funds, so it can deter the organization to take decisions, because finances and funds are very much necessary. So I have written here the size of the firm, large, medium, or small, the technique of production, capital intensive, labor intensive, availability of funds, and the nature of business. What the business the organization wants to deal in, whether it's manufacturing or industrial something, or whether it was trading concern or of service concern, it also leaves a great impact when the organization, what type of goods they are going to produce, what type of machines they require. So these are the several factors which depends. First is size of the firm, the second is nature of the business, process of production, and the availability of funds. Now, while selecting the machines, plant and machinery, then tools, equipment, it should be done very carefully and wisely, not in a rush or hurry or become impatient. First of all, the cost of machine should be taken into consideration. The cost of a particular machine should be taken into consideration, whether it is right, feasible, optimal or not, and then it should be compared with the alternative sources, whether the particular machine, the relatability cost is good or not, whether the availability of spare parts, spare materials, services, repair and maintenance is available or not. So these things should be taken into consideration. So the owner should always, and the group of experts will always carefully take into consideration and assess all these things: the cost, the alternative sources, the alternative means the availability of raw materials, spare parts, repair and maintenance services. All these things should be taken into consideration before purchasing a high sophisticated machine. And being in the name of modernity alone, being the sophisticated machine should not be only in the name of that is it is modern, it should serve the purpose. So the selection of machine depends to a large extent that they are serving the purpose, and they are giving the functions, they are giving the person, they are enhancing the productivity of the organization, improving all the speed and reducing the cost of goods per unit, bringing down the cost, reducing the cost. So I have written that the particular machine should be selected on the basis, on the purview, on the basis of that consideration that those machines will help and assist, improve and enhance the productivity, and also it will help to bring down the goods of the cost per unit of the goods to a low extent, and thereby helping the organization to attain the organizational goals. So as I have written all the key terms and the relevant points, all of you students, you can write down at your respective BSc class 11 copies. So we have all the steps, we will discuss all the steps, but I want to inform all of you that minimum 7 or 8 points you can learn from it. So there are in total there are 11 points, but you do not need to learn all the 11 points. I'm making it easier for you. You can learn any 7 or 8 points from steps involved in the selection or establishment of an enterprise. So now we are doing the provision of physical facilities. In the next video, we will do the 7 number point, that is plant layout. So all of you do watch the video very carefully several times, and listen to the audio clips which I'll be sending it to you, and then you have to listen to the audio clips, watch the video several times thoroughly so as to grab the meaning, content and concept, all the clarity of it. And if you have the book, do refer the book, go through the book several times, which will provide you the glance and glimpse of the inner meaning what the books wants to convey. And then also, if any sorts of doubt arises, feel free, proceed to ask me, do not hesitate, so I can provide you the required assistance.